Like so many stories, this one involves a cab ride. Here's the backstory. I was recently in Charlotte, North Carolina for an in-person meeting with my team at work. We hadn't met since 2019, and I looked forward to getting together with new team members. A highlight of the schedule was a visit to the U.S. National Whitewater Center. There, our hardy band of proposal writers, managers, designers, and administrators could take part in hiking, biking, rope walks, kayaking, whitewater rafting, and zip lining. Well, I've never done whitewater rafting. Rowing and canoeing as a Boy Scout 50 years ago, I could handle that. But online scenes of rafts plunging up and down in the foaming waters of the center were way too close to the conclusion of Moby Dick. I'm ready for Social Security. How could I summon the rafting savvy from deep in my reptilian survival instinct? I could have opted for hiking, but, well, you know what the kids say these days, YOLO. You only live once. I brought a t-shirt, this is it, swim trunks, Teva sandals, and a rubber band to hold my glasses together in case I wanted to really try the rafting. Responding to my doubts about whether I wanted to risk it, my younger brother Cooper texted me, "Come on, try something different." My reply to him, blub blub. Finally, I opted for the whitewater rafting and ziplining. Both activities were new to me. The guides of the Whitewater Center were extremely safety conscious, so I felt confident about both. We learned what to do with our paddle. Imagine this is a paddle. Stroke, stroke, stroke. And then when they say lean in, when we hit rough water, I'd have to lean all the way into the boat. And then when they would say sit, I'd really put myself down on the bottom of the boat to try to keep from getting thrown into the drink. Ooh, a little tough on the knees there. Anyway, they were so safety conscious, I felt very confident about doing both activities. For rafting, you know what we did. We even learned how to respond in case we found ourselves underneath a boat that had overturned, which was kind of scary to think about. For ziplining, we spent about a half hour on safety procedures and getting our gear and harnesses together. This was followed by about a minute of ecstatic flight high over the Whitewater Center. Half hour of preparation, a minute of pleasure. That kind of reminds me of other sophisticated adult amusements, but we'll save that for another discussion. So anyway, my big concern was keeping my glasses on when I'm in the raft and not bonking my head on a rock in case I got thrown out. Well, I'm happy to report that I stayed in the raft and these glasses stayed on my head. Next, I did the zip lining, and that worked out fine too. So, got cleaned up, changed clothes, and that evening, our team headed to the Optimist Food Mill food court for dinner. The afternoon of living the strenuous outdoors life was already passing from activity into legend. During the cab ride, I said to one of my colleagues, I can take whitewater rafting and ziplining off my bucket list, but I still want to go to Chernobyl. You know, that's where the Soviet nuclear disaster was. But that's moved down my list because, well, circumstances have interfered. So one of my new colleagues, Tanya, exclaimed, "You don't want to go to Chernobyl? I grew up there. Don't go there." The cabbie's ears perked up. "You're from Ukraine? I speak Russian." And he did. The driver and Tanya chatted amiably for a while in Russian and then switched to English. I offered that my paternal grandfather was also born in the shtetl of Vishnevitz in Ukraine, so I have that local connection. I also talked about the itinerary of my 1987 trip to the USSR, Moscow, Tbilisi, Sochi, and what was then called Leningrad. The driver got a big kick out of this, so I shared a couple of words in Russian, and he shared his background. He came to the U.S. from Morocco, of all places, where he had been a dentist. He held up his cell phone showing a photo of him performing dental surgery, so he wasn't jiving when he said he had really been a dentist. I finally asked him, how did somebody from Morocco learn Russian? And he said, I thought maybe he had been an exchange student during the final years of the USSR, taking part in what the propagandists back then called the Friendship of Nations. His reply, online dating. I said, I can identify with that. That's how I got interested in studying Brazilian Portuguese. Well, besides English and Russian, our multilingual driver also spoke Arabic, French, and Spanish, skills that must serve him very well as he ferried passengers all around Mecklenburg County. He loved living in the U.S. and he also liked returning to Morocco. He was the kind of tail-spinning, highly observant cabbie that you often see popping up in movies, maybe in the 1930s movies. And here he was in real life. So what would have been a prosaic mile-long cab drive turned into a cross-cultural, cross-linguistic adventure that I'll always associate with whitewater rafting. And you know, I'm also going to associate it with Chernobyl. Just between you and me, I still want to go there. Like the kids say, YOLO.